That's right, it is time for the Hometown Movie Guys. Happy Friday, everyone. Hope you had an amazing 4th of July yesterday. And now it is time to talk movies with the movie guys, Craig, Nathan, and... Hey, has anyone seen Andy?
Andy? No Andy yet.
We think he might have ran off due to the fireworks maybe. Yes. So if you see Andy in the neighborhood out there, please report him.
Still
to
looking
us.
frazzled, running around.
Yeah, he might have
hiding under someone's porch.
hiding.
Looks like he hasn't gotten rest all night.
Yeah.
Go ahead and just give us a call.
Give the movie theater a call, and they will come collect him. So no, just joking, Andy. Wherever you are, hopefully you are good, and because we know Andy loves talking movies, so for him not to be here, that is odd, isn't it? Especially since every Friday this month, we're going to have the Hometown Movie Guys on to talk about the movies playing at the Sawmill Theatres. And there are some really good movies. There's
It's a big week. Big week.
Big week. And what movie would you like to talk about first, Craig?
Let's start with the big one, Despicable Me.
Despicable Me 4.
4.
Yeah.
4.
Yes.
4. Now, you know, there are some of the movies that as they get going, it's like,
Yeah.
But I don't think that's the case with Despicable.
They find a way to capture humor for all ages perfectly in these films.
Everybody loves Minions.
Yeah.
Oh, who doesn't love? If you find someone that doesn't love a Minion, that's a red
Yes.
flag, a
Yep,
serious
there you
red
go.
flag right there. Yeah, that's.
This is they're expecting around 150 million for the 5 days on this one.
Wow.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
So it's a big weekend.
Nice. And you know, it's needed, isn't it? I mean, Hollywood, the movie theaters,
Yeah.
they need those movies that really draw people in, and a movie that also, you know, we'll talk about later, but is still at the theater, Inside Out 2,
Mhm.
you know, did that
Also
as well.
drew a big.
Yeah,
big crowd.
and that's good.
That's where the money is, you know, not just here, but every theater in the country. Summertime and in the holidays is when you make money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And that's why you see, you know, the studios know what they're doing, and they release these big films, you know, when people are out and about,
Mhm.
summer vacation or you know, Christmas vacation.
Mm-hmm. So, Despicable Me 4, audience score, Rotten Tomatoes, they love it. People love it.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
91. Critics, you know, have their nose in the air. And, you know, but you look at all the actors that are in this movie
Mhm.
that, you know,
These
do
voice
voices.
actors.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Steve Carell, Kristen Wiig, Will Ferrell, Sophia Vergara. I
Mhm.
mean, that's her voice is just
Her voice,
fun.
right?
Yeah. Stephen Colbert. List goes on and on.
Yeah. It seems very fun. Like I just went in the other day just to do a quick theater check and found myself wasting 5 minutes just laughing at some minions beating each other for no reason. And I was like, it's just
Yeah.
it doesn't take any time to notice how engaging it is. Like
Yeah.
you walk right in there and it's immediately going to grab your attention, and that's how the whole film seems. And
Yeah.
That's what this Illumination Studios is starting to really get good
Next
at.
weekend, we got a little thing for crafts. We're doing a
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So next Wednesday, July 10th at 10 a.m., we're going to be doing a early showing for Despicable Me where we'll have the lights up
Yeah.
for, you know, because some of the younger kids get scared of
Yeah.
the dark, and so they can't come to movies. But we're going to have the lights up, and kids are going to be doing a little craft.
Nice.
And the craft is going to be make your own minion. It's going to be like a little Easter egg bobblehead sort of thing.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, it like stands
Cool.
up and wobbles on its own, and you can make a little minion. So
Nice. And now you did this just
for Inside Out.
for Inside Out too.
yes, for Inside
Yeah.
Out, yeah, we did some coloring pages, and we had a pretty good turnout. I think we didn't have quite the outreach that we could have
Yeah.
for that one ahead of time.
Yeah.
But this one, I'm getting nervous. We have a really good outreach. for it.
Nice. Well, yeah, and like you said, who doesn't love Minions? Kids
Yeah,
love Minions.
exactly.
Well, and you know what? What I love about the Despicable Me movies is the Minions are so entertaining, so
Mhm.
fun. You love watching them. but the relationship too with Gru
Yeah.
and
His
just
family,
his family, and then his love interest, and it just
Yeah.
all of the like relationships, and then the antagonist in the movie, who is it? Vector. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
Vector just cracked. I mean, where the tiny toilet and his
Yeah.
squid gun, and it just
Yeah.
that's so funny.
Yeah, and then they kept building on it too. It's
Yeah.
like each one that comes out is good. It's funny, but it's because they know that like
Well, that's what you see it, adults,
Yeah.
obviously, find it,
Yeah.
funny too.
yeah.
It's
It's
good for
I don't
adults
want to
and for
find it
kids.
funny. I don't want to be like, oh yeah, Minions are the funniest thing I've seen today. But I walk in and I can't help but
Yeah.
laughing because they coordinated this hilarious gag so
Yeah.
well.
So is it a case, Nathan, where you see people coming out, kids, adults, everyone just with smiles on their face?
Yeah, it does seem like people are having a good time. I will say that the kids seem like they have a lot of energy, and that's why I
Yeah.
feel like this craft class that we're going to do on Wednesday is good because the kids these days they
Run
got to
around a
do
little
something
bit.
with their hands.
Yeah.
They're always going, and when you're trying to get them to sit down for an hour, it's a little bit harder for them.
Yeah.
But these kids are having a great time. They're all loving Despicable Me.
That's why, like with the birthdays too, you do private shows for birthdays.
Yeah.
Usually 10 a.m., but
Yeah.
that's another one where it's a private show, so you got all your kids in there, they can.
They're running around like
they
crazy.
can run around in the theater.
They're finally so excited that they can sit
Yeah.
on chairs however they want.
Yeah. No, so Despicable Me 4, rated PG, so again, great for kids,
Oh,
all
yeah, bring
ages.
everyone out.
Oh yeah, bring the entire family, all the kids. Showtimes noon, 2:15, 4:30, and 6:45.
It's a quick one,
Yeah.
it's only 90 minutes long.
90 minutes long,
Yeah.
so and entertaining the entire time.
Yeah, start to finish, it really feels like, and you can tell when a movie like this is released and it's only 90 minutes, and it's it's the Minion movie, so it's going to be funny. They trimmed whatever fat in that movie that made it feel a little
Yeah.
bogged down, just so it's
Yeah.
a real, like, I think that this is a 90-minute Despicable Me 4. This is a movie that people might come to see at the theater more than once before
yeah.
it comes out.
Nice,
But
nice.
Inside Out is the other one then too, and
Yeah.
I think that's what we've seen with that too.
It's doing great.
Another one, great reviews, yeah, that came out mid-June, but still going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Another PG film, good for the family, and the kids all love this one too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Excited.
So yeah, two good kids ones showing
Yeah.
right now.
Oh, which is wonderful. And again, I mean, you're at the mercy of the studios. So,
Mhm.
when there's a lull, when there's a lapse in kids' movies, it's not because, we don't want to bring in any kids' movies. It's because they're not being put out.
Yeah.
So-
Well, even it's not like we didn't have kids movies in the months preceding this, but
Yeah.
like there's a difference between a Garfield and
Yeah.
a Inside Out 2 and
Yeah.
a Despicable Me 4. These
Yeah.
are big movies, and Garfield was starting out,
Yeah.
but it was it wasn't.
Yeah.
It was more like this is Chris Pratt, this is Samuel L. Jackson. We're
Yeah.
gonna throw some quick little Garfield story together real
Yeah.
quick.
So Inside Out 2, what would you guess critics score on Inside Out 2? Critics.
The critics.
Critics loved it too.
Yeah.
91?
I was gonna say 87.
90. Yeah,
90.
90. So, and audience 96. So, I mean,
Yeah.
this was just a movie that everyone,
Yeah.
critics.
This was a big one
audience.
for the theaters. It kind of kicked things off.
Mm.
For the
You
summer.
know, we were, the first half of June was a little disappointing, and then this one came
Mhm.
out and just,
Yeah, no,
the floodgates opened and people.
and we've kind of had more consistent business throughout the
Oh,
summer
yeah,
since.
Definitely. Well, and
Nice.
that's kind of, they kicked off, we've got, the quality of stuff too is.
It's
has
picking up as
definitely
well.
picked up,
Yeah, because
Mhm.
we got, the other movies that we have coming out that aren't kids movies also are really good ones.
Yeah. Yes.
Horizon.
Oh, yeah.
Horizon.
So, yeah, now, those are the two kids' movies, Despicable Me 4, Inside Out 2, both rated PG. And then you have, the movie Horizon, An American Saga Part 1 with Kevin Costner.
Yeah.
And that, you said, has been doing amazing, hasn't it?
Up here.
Yeah.
Up here,
And
oh, okay.
Nationally, it was maybe a little bit of a disappointment.
Wow.
I'm sure they wanted more of it, but here in Payson, it has done great.
Oh, yeah.
And that's, we talked about this a little bit, but going back quite a few years, Johnny Depp.
Oh, yeah.
The Lone Ranger.
Lone
The Lone
Ranger,
Ranger, yeah. The
yes.
Lone Ranger was another one
That-
that nationally just didn't really hit. people were disappointed in, but here in Payson, it just did great.
Yeah, you were talking about that specifically because it was in 2013, and you said that it was this one day that it was the most we'd ever had, and it was...
Yeah, it was actually our busiest day ever.
Wow.
I think we had 1,300 people
Wow.
in
Yeah.
one day, but that was, and strangely enough, Despicable Me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Despicable Me was out in the Lone Ranger with it too, and
And there was a Spider-Man movie still out too, which
Yeah.
is also another big one, so...
So this one, Horizon, directed by Kevin Costner, and also starring Kevin Costner.
Yeah.
and he
And written.
he put out a bunch of money for it too.
Oh,
Produced.
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is his baby.
And Sam Worthington in it, Sienna Miller, and yeah, you said, Craig, that the Payson audience, Payson moviegoers are really
Yes.
enjoying
Oh, yeah.
this.
Yesterday I was going in to clean the theater after some people were leaving, and I think this older lady was trying to get me to notice that she was in tears from how good the movie was.
Oh, wow. She's like, look at this.
Yeah, but I thought it was a little funny because I'm like, the credits have been going for like at least 5 minutes now. Like,
And this one goes the other. This is a 3-hour movie.
yeah.
3 hours.
3 hours.
3 hours.
We've got part 2 coming out in
Wow.
August then.
Okay.
Something you don't normally see with them
Yeah.
coming back, back to back.
Back to back.
Yeah, that
quickly.
quick.
Mhm.
Wow.
So it makes it like, oh, 3 hours of a movie is a little bit of an investment, but they got the sequel coming out right there, so that they're happy with the quality of content that they're releasing soon. So
It's a good one now. It's probably 100 degrees day, 101.
oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
oh yeah, it's a good time to spend 3 hours.
Nice cool theater. Yes, come in there and relax and
Yeah,
have
get
some popcorn.
nice some Pepsi and
Oh yeah. So what is it? It has a short. And I need to go on your website because you can go to sawmilltheatres.com to check out all the movies that are playing currently at Sawmill Theatres, and also the movies that are coming soon. What's on the horizon? This movie, though, is about, it says, a 15-year span of pre- and post-Civil War expansion and settlement of the American West.
yes,
So families, friends moving west, coming out to the west.
And I think he was shooting for being more or less historically accurate on this.
Okay.
Kind of what was going on there, and some of the things with the natives.
Mhm.
He defended it. Some people were, of course, people get upset about
Yeah.
about everything now, but
About history, accurate history?
Yes,
Yeah.
well, that's what he showed was
Yeah.
that on some of the natives were upset, that they
Yeah.
were, with the expansion and everything and what was going on, and that's true. That is
Yeah.
what happened.
Very
And,
factual.
that's where he kind of portrays his the hows and the whys too on
Yeah.
what happened. But
Yeah.
it was can you imagine that 1860s? How you got no law.
yeah,
Yeah.
Or what, one sheriff for a territory or
Yeah.
yeah.
something ridiculous,
Well, we know it, you and I might have a little bit more of an understanding because we played Oregon Trail. So I mean,
Of course.
the Oregon Trail,
Played a little Oregon
how
Trail.
hazardous that was.
Yeah.
That was very treacherous, Oregon Trail. I mean,
Yeah.
Always
come
die.
on, yeah, always you're dying, yeah, of a disease, something.
All the disease. And,
Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, just all of the and coming from back east, being born and raised in Pennsylvania,
Mhm.
the difference between the East Coast and out west, it's extreme.
Yeah.
So back east, water everywhere, trees. I mean,
Very different.
Very different. You cross the Mississippi, start getting into the plains. Whoa, what's going on? There's like
Starts
nothing. And then you come out west. You get to the mountains and out west. How dry the deserts. I mean, it's completely different. So if it's noticeable, now in modern times with all the advancements, technologies, creature comforts we have to make it easier. Back then,
Mhm.
I mean, how much more of a shock and just, oh my gosh, what is this? What's going
Yeah.
on here? Just all of it. And then, like you said, Native Americans, Indians being here, and then, wow,
Yeah, I know my family actually moved down into Phoenix in the 1930s.
oh wow,
And
yeah.
I can't Imagine that one down there.
Yeah.
No air conditioner? Oh.
Yeah.
Man, everybody's living in the icebox.
Yeah, and granted, you know, it was a little cooler because the cities weren't built up and everything, but it was still very hot compared to if you're coming from up north or back east, you know.
Oh, sure,
it's-
sure.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Horizon, so this, again, yeah, 3-hour movie, so be prepared, but, sounds like, you know, people really
Beautiful,
enjoy it.
beautiful eye candy. All the
Ooh.
shots of the beautiful sprawling. It's shot in southern Utah.
Okay.
So it's very beautiful, like mountains with aspen trees on it. Very
Yeah.
very similar to how some of our pretty forests can look up in the mountains.
Yeah.
Kevin Costner does that stuff, you know, that's.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you're
He knows
looking
how
at,
to-
You know, Dance with Wolves.
yeah.
It's the same type of thing, just,
Yeah.
some incredible footage on that.
Yeah, and this one rated R and only 2 show times, 12:15 and 6:15 because of the length of the
Long
movie.
movie, yeah.
Yeah, and again, and as Nathan said, part 2 coming out in August, being
Yeah.
released in August. So that will be here before we know it. And let's see, another movie, new movie, The Sound of Hope, the story of Possum Trot.
Yes.
Yeah,
This is
and,
this is Angel Studios.
uh-huh,
The same people that did, this is kind of a,
Sound of Freedom.
Sound of Freedom, yeah, this is
Yes.
kind of a, I don't want to call it a sequel or
Same genre. It
Same
seems like
concept,
they
yeah.
might do more of these sound of.
Yeah,
Sort of
yeah,
it's a little
stories,
bit of,
faith-based stories.
The plight of children, you know,
Yeah.
some of the harshness of that. But this is kind of more on you know, Sound of Freedom was, you know, getting these kids out of that, but
yeah.
this is kind of then what happens once they're out of that, you know, into
Mhm.
the, you know, the people that
In the
you
system.
know, are taking them in.
Yeah, so this is the story of Possum Trot is a true story of Donna and Reverend Martin and their church in East Texas. 22 families adopted 77 children from the local foster system, igniting a movement for vulnerable children everywhere.
Yep.
Wow.
And Angel, so this is a little bit of a faith-based film.
Everybody coming out is talking about how great the message is and
Mm.
how valuable the message is.
Mhm.
So it seems like everybody's pretty excited about this
That's an
one.
important thing too, you know, that
Yeah.
we're, you know, at this point in our history, that it's still such a,
Yeah.
it's such an issue. You know, Sound of Freedom, they were talking that, you know, child trafficking is passing up the global drug trade.
Mhm.
Wow.
Which is just insane that, you know, this
Insane that
it's
it
still
isn't
going
our
on.
primary focus every day.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
awful.
that more isn't being done to address it, to combat it.
Well, that's what they say, you know, the first part is, you know, recognizing it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Making people aware.
so this is interesting to me. The Sound of Freedom audience score, Sound of Freedom, again, we know it was a major hit.
Yeah.
Audience score, the on Rotten Tomatoes, the people that went to see it, audience, what do you think the audience score was?
98.
I'm gonna say 87.
99.
99.
99.
Wow.
So
That's
you
an amazing
can't, that's
score.
amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. 99, like Maverick, Top Gun Maverick was like 99.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was that well received by the audience. So the critics, what do you say the critics rating of The Sound of Freedom?
So the critics are going to be looking at it as like, well, let me judge this as a film.
Yeah.
Not as, let me judge this
Yeah.
as how important this is.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing that they'd maybe say 65.
Wow. I was gonna say 62.
62, even lower, 57.
Ah.
So that was one of the things, and I remember talking about this with Andy, and it's like, wow, the critics, and, you know, they're looking at these things, but the message is lost on them.
Yes.
And, you know, just how bad that is, and, you know, why don't they understand this, how important this is, this message.
But, you know, critics don't look at, they don't look at entertainment value
Yeah.
either.
So,
No.
The Sound of Hope, what do you think the audience score so far is with The Sound of Hope?
I can make a guess, but I will make another guess before we get to it,
Yeah.
that I believe that the audience score, or that the critic score on this one will be higher. I don't know why, but I'm just throwing that out there.
Okay.
But I'd say that the audience score, you know, it just came out yesterday,
Yeah,
so I'm gonna say that it is up to 87 right now.
So I'm gonna stay up there at 95.
yeah, 97.
97.
97, so
Nice.
still audience
Wow.
loving it, but critics, and like you said, Nathan, critics, now 81%.
Yes.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
81%.
Yes, well, because,
So I'm wondering if because, you know, maybe they're looking at it differently, but I would have to say the message, that maybe they're looking more at the message.
Well, I believe that this one also, it is telling a story of a marriage as well. You know what I mean? It's her husband, who's the Reverend, and her wife, who do this together. So so I feel like with that, there's gonna be a lot more of that like emotional drama and stuff that the critics are looking for. But, you know, it just makes me happy, these are the stories that deserve movies. You know?
I'm gonna say, you know, Sound of Freedom just made a ton of money. And when you're producing a film, that money, you can see it on the screen.
Yeah.
You know, if you're looking at, you know, Sound of Freedom, you know, Angel Studios, small studio, you know, reshoots, things like that. You know, like you might go back and, you know, like Disney, they make a movie, they're gonna go, all right, this scene doesn't quite work, they're gonna reshoot it. You know, they're not too worried about cash.
Yeah.
You know, and then when you've got a limited budget, you can't do all those reshoots and stuff. Sound of Freedom made this money. Angel Studios had a little more.
Yeah.
That's, I think,
Okay.
with the critics, you know, you're getting those reshoots and everything. You're seeing that production value. You can bring in better writers. You know, you can pay a better writer.
Yeah.
Better directors. You know, so you know, money does show up on the screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to me too. Well, in Sound of Freedom, Jim Caviezel, or I mean
Cavill,
just an amazing actor. I think he just.
It was a Passion of Christ.
Passion of the Christ and some other stuff that he's done. He just is an amazing actor.
Passion of the Christ. I only watched that once.
And so for, you know, with this one, The Sound of Hope, it's interesting, don't really recognize much, or really any of the cast, or, you know, it's kind of, you know, didn't go after like maybe a big star or a bigger name, but so far the reviews, yes, you know, great. And how long, that just came out, that just opened yesterday. And that's nationwide, it opened yesterday.
And the other thing we're looking at really, you know, here in America, we've seen a big shift towards these faith-based films. They've become much more prevalent over the last few years.
I definitely think the fact that Sound of Freedom came forward and talked about something that has been kind of consistently ignored with a lot of what's out there, I think that really helps as well, to speak on their integrity, and then, you know, bring an audience that goes, well, I'm trustful of this now, because...
And Sound of Freedom, wow, 242 million that brought in.
Yeah, and that, I'm sure I doubt they even spent 30 million making that movie.
Yeah.
So it was just a huge return on that.
I will say that you know, usually for marketing, you have to assume that they spent about same amount as the budget of the film, but I'd say for that one, they probably spent a little bit more on marketing.
They definitely put it out there,
Yeah, they put it out there well, but...
And again, you know, that's the same thing with this one now, they've got that extra money, so I'm sure the marketing and everything was you know, higher on this one.
Yeah, so $14.5 million to make the Sound of Freedom. So 15,000.
Wow.
Yeah, and a worldwide intake of 247 million, 15 million to make.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, I think this one...
They had plenty of money for this movie.
Yeah, Sound of Hope, probably going to do really well also, and that's rated PG-13, showtimes 1:15, 4:15, and 7:15. Now, let me see a movie still in the theaters, A Quiet Place. Day one, how has that been going? Great?
Yeah, it's just, you know what though, we've seen a little bit, like with Horizon, where it did better in pacing than it did nationally. Quiet Place went the other way. It's doing better nationally than it did here.
Gotcha.
Although it's doing good here too, and it's supposed to be I've not got to see this one yet.
I haven't got to see it either, but I've talked to quite a few people who have seen the other ones, and they're very excited. They say that this one, standing on the same level as The Quiet Place and Quiet Place 2 is an impressive feat as movies, because those are great movies. But apparently people are saying that this one is better.
Wow.
I don't know who's saying that, because you know, Emily Blunt and John Krasinski and all those like brilliant kid actors in the first one just really,
Yeah.
really made a real dent in that movie. That was a great movie. Quiet
Well,
Place.
what would you guess, so the critic score on this one, A Quiet Place?
Critics like John Krasinski. I'd say 89.
89, how about you,
I'm gonna go
Craig?
87.
Yeah.
87,
Ah.
87. And audience score,
97.
97?
82.
It's actually 73.
73.
So the critics are so far really,
Liking this
liking
movie
this a
more.
lot, yeah.
Interesting.
It is interesting, so, yeah, I just saw the trailer, oh my goodness, you talk about like, you like jump scares.
Oh,
There are
yeah.
probably some good jump
So it
scares.
seems a little more, well, this is day one.
More thriller.
So you're seeing, the monsters that are in it are more prevalent. You get to see these guys,
Show up.
and they're creepy monsters.
Yeah, and nobody, at this point of the movie, nobody's figured out yet that, you gotta be quiet.
Yeah,
You gotta be quiet. So they're landing in the middle of a bustling Chicago city, and that's where it essentially begins.
yeah.
So,
Who is used to quiet or can be quiet in a city? I mean, whether it's closet.
There's a lot of, a lot of interesting, what if you're having a baby?
yeah,
You can't really, reason with a toddler,
yeah,
don't cry.
yeah.
Or
Yeah.
you have a toddler, you have a child.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's so cool to see though, now that they're kind of working back through the timeline, how in Quiet Place 1, they addressed those issues with a newborn baby. They had the box ready, they had oxygen ready for a soundproof box for their baby.
Yeah.
You guys remember that in that movie? Because they didn't want the baby to cry, because Emily Blunt, in the first one, her character delivers a baby with like a monster outside, essentially, like right
Wow.
out there. So
Wow.
those movies are crazy, really good movies.
yeah. So, again, A Quiet Place, day one, rated PG-13, showtimes 1:15, 4:15, and 7:15. And, it does look wild. And then the cat, I guess the cat is like the big star of the show, the cat in there.
There's a cat in here too.
Yeah.
Same thing there. Or
Yeah.
how do you keep a cat quiet or a dog?
I
Yeah.
think cat's a little easier to be.
Well, sure.
Yeah, than a dog, that's so true.
I'd imagine a cat would only have to see another cat meow and get grabbed by a monster a few times.
And then the last movie that's in the theaters, The Bike Riders. The Bike Riders, and how has that one been doing?
Not too bad.
Not too bad?
It's, I think critics enjoyed it.
Yeah, 81, so I mean, solid from critics. And I, again, watched the trailer on this one, and I'm a big Tom Hardy fan. I
Yeah.
just like,
Yeah.
everything he does. And
That is one, I think this will be the last week for it. I'll be
Okay.
gone next Thursday then.
Yeah, but it looked, and very interesting, to talk about, this, the motorcycle gang. What is it, the Vandals?
Vandals, yeah.
Vandals, how it came about, how it started, just like a motorcycle club, guys, into motorcycles, coming together, hey, let's, ride. They're kind of like outcasts, and they can relate to each other, and then kind of what it became, or what it turned
A
into.
little more violence.
And it looks real good. Rated R.
It's a little bit rough.
Yeah, 2-hour movie, and showtimes for this one 1, 4, and 7. And again, want to let you know, make sure you know that the theater, Sawmill Theatres, open 7 days a week now.
7 days a week.
Yep, so you can enjoy a movie, any day, and especially like you said, as as we experience this warm weather, this very hot weather, the AC feels so good.
Yes.
Yeah. So good. So
Nice cold soda.
yeah, cold soda, AC, and a good flick. And there's I'd have to say right now all the movies just
It's
really
it's a really good lineup. It
Yeah.
really is.
yeah.
We got it's going to slow down a little bit here through the rest of July. There are some big ones. Twisters.
Okay.
Kind of I don't know if it's a sequel or just a remake of the first one. That looks really good. And end of the month in Deadpool.
Yeah,
Deadpool and Wolverine, which those are
that's gonna be
so good.
That's
So
gonna be a
good.
killer movie.
And
The
about
rated R, but hilarious films.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
funny.
How about Fly Me to the Moon?
That one looks interesting.
good.
Yeah, Scarlett Johansson,
Scarlett
Channing
Johansson,
Tatum.
yeah.
That's next week. That's on the 12th.
Yeah, it does look like it could be an entertaining, just
Yeah,
entertaining.
really
movie.
fun, entertaining
Yeah.
film, yeah.
Channing Tatum, I mean, what was the one that he was in with Sandra Bullock? You know, it wasn't the other one, the action where he's action, you know, she's the writer. Something, Trouble in Paradise?
Trouble in Paradise, yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
Mm.
very entertaining.
Yeah.
Again, that really surprised me. I thought, it's gonna kind of be dumb,
Yeah,
or, you
well,
know.
Channing Tatum's kind of, morphed a little bit, he kind of
Yeah.
started out as this, Notebook, things like that, kind
Yeah.
of this romantic comedy, well, not even really comedy, he's more of a romantic actor, and
Mhm.
he's kind of broke into the comedy stuff a
He's
little
kind of
bit,
becoming
too,
the next
huh?
Matt Damon in a weird way.
Yeah.
Isn't that
Whoa.
weird? You kind of see that he's kind of taking Matt Damon-ish roles.
Huh,
Yeah, I
well.
see that, a little
Yeah.
bit,
Or Matt Damon, or what's his name, the other guy, Marky Mark,
Yeah.
Mark Wahlberg.
Mm.
Kind of same people.
Kind of, yeah,
Mark,
They're all the
but
same.
Mark Wahlberg and,
Mark Wahlberg kind of has I just think of him as in some of the, like entertaining, just like comedic, where Matt Damon still, I just can't, I always think of, what is the movie, Good Will Hunting,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
just.
But I was thinking more of like closer to his more recent films, like Downsizing and things like that, where he is kind of getting into those
Yeah.
like kind of comedy sort of films, like later on sort of things.
Yeah,
Will Hunting
Downsizing,
is
that one,
great.
that was,
Mark Wahlberg, he's
kind of
full on comedy. With,
Yeah.
Ted.
yeah.
Ted is great.
Ted, the
And-
other guys.
The other guys and
Mhm.
all that, yeah. Interesting, yeah, those three, I guess like you said, Matt Damon, Wahlberg, kind of very similar, and Channing Tatum, kind of like
Hollywood
going.
does that, yeah, they kind of these,
They're all probably
Clones
competing
or-
for the same roles right now.
yes, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. And another one, Ryan Gosling,
Yeah.
who's been, and he does a great job, with him with Steve Carell in that one movie, but, I mean,
Which one is that one?
yeah, and I forget the actress in there, but, Steve's daughter that he's dating, but, yeah, Ryan Gosling, and even The Fall Guy, it was kind of, in the theaters and box office, a little bit of a disappointment, but
It really
was
It really was.
entertaining movie.
Yeah, no,
It's
it
a
was a
solid
good film.
movie.
It was a good film. It was another one, didn't really, and that was kind of disappointing because that early May release is usually what kicks off the summer season.
Mm-hmm.
And it used to be Disney always before it was Disney even,
Mhm.
Fox would do Star Wars,
Mm-hmm.
for that May 5th. And then that
Mhm.
would kind of kick off our whole season and, people would come out and then we get it going and.
No Star Wars this
Fall
year.
Guy, yeah, Fall Guy didn't get it going.
Mm.
Star Wars
Acolyte?
this December?
Oh, yeah? Which one?
I'm not sure if they're doing it, was it Rogue Squadron? I'm
Oh.
not sure if they're gonna have it this year or next year.
Interesting.
But yeah, they do have new Star Wars lining up, and then, so I think they were gonna do Avatar one year, and the next year Star Wars,
Yeah.
and then the year after that, go back to Avatar, so you'd have, Avatar every 2 years, kind of avoid burnout there, so people don't get.
Yeah.
Because that's what kind of happened with Star Wars, a little bit of burnout.
Well,
I
yeah, well, they
think.
did
Yeah.
they did Han Solo, I think, and then they did the final, what was it, Return of the Jedi, or?
Right, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
They
Rise
did two,
of
they did two,
Skywalker.
they did two
Yeah,
in one
'cause it
year, I
was-
think it was too much.
Yeah, it was, I think it was Solo and then the second of the
Yeah.
trilogy, which was the most disappointing to a lot of people. What was that one? The Rise of Skywalker? I don't know.
Yeah, I know, and that's where, when you can't even remember all, it's like,
Yeah.
huh.
Yeah,
that's-
like if, yeah, that trilogy is weird.
Yeah.
That Star Wars
second one-
trilogy
that
isn't
second
great.
one was bad.
Yeah.
That second one was
I just-
bad.
I
There was
still-
fun parts.
It scarred me, it really did.
It
I
scarred me.
I maybe not want to watch it for a while.
Well,
Well, it was about an hour into the movie, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember it hit me, it's like, is this movie bad?
Yeah,
And you can't accept,
No,
there's no way,
no, you don't want to.
Star Wars, wait, bad?
Yeah,
Not-
what is
no,
happening
no.
right now? This movie is awful, I think.
because you look at it, and that movie in particular, like there was a lot of things that, like on paper, are really cool. Like when they used the one ship to hyperspace through the big ship, like that was really cool. That shot was amazing. And it's like a little bit of a sacrifice yourself situation. That was cool. But then you get into like, if you watch the final battle at the end,
Yeah.
all that combat is the funniest thing in the world.
Yeah.
Like you have guys like spinning around by themselves and then going to like hit her and then deflecting off of nothing and
But
not
that's
quality.
what the end of today's program turns into a little mini therapy session for Craig.
Yeah.
we miss Star Wars.
Oh, hey, well, there we go. So hit the movies this weekend, great films, and it is nice and cool in the theaters.
Yes,
So,
yes.
hey, well, thank you guys.
Thank
And next Friday, more hometown movie guys, but now time to get back to the music with some Matchbox 20, Blind Melon, The Who, and more. But first, hey, let's get a quick update from the National Weather Service so they can tell us how hot it's going to be today.
Pretty hot.
Yeah, it's going to be hot.
I heard from Gordon.
Hey, yeah, I talked to him yesterday. See you guys.